Hey guys, sitting here in the backyard today. Beautiful day. Thought I'd just tell you something that's on my mind, I guess, if anybody cares to know. I watched, anybody who watches my channel knows I absolutely don't believe Jesus is God. And not just as far as the Trinity or oneness, but in any way, he's not deity. He's a human Messiah. But I watch a lot of videos where people try to present the idea that he is, whether it be oneness belief or Trinitarian belief. And I give all of them a good shot, I do. But nobody can give me what it is that I'm looking for. Because what I'm looking for is what I believe has to be there in order to believe something like that. Someone has to teach it. Okay? But nobody ever does, and what I do get when I watch these particular videos that are supposed to prove it is I get a lot of verses that get thrown together with the supposition that I'm supposed to interpret it as a Trinity. Why do I have to interpret it as a Trinity, or as oneness belief, or as dual nature belief, or is that God is able to die but not really? I have to interpret it that way because nobody ever says it. Follow what I'm saying? I have to interpret it that way because nobody says it. I have to take things that are said and mentally rearrange it in my mind to say what he really means is the Trinity. You read Genesis 1:26. There's a very, very easy understanding of Genesis 1:26, and it's not an interpretation of it. It's just exactly what was going on. But instead, I'm supposed to see God saying, "Let us make man in our own image," and I'm supposed to say Trinity. Although nobody's talking about a Trinity in that passage, although God is not trying to convey himself as a Trinity in that passage, although God is not teaching me that he's a Trinity. I mean, after all, he said, let us make man in our own image. Okay, if you want to go the plurality route, well, how many plurals were talked about there? Was it 3, 4, 17, 58, 2, 11? He didn't say 3 because he's not teaching it. That's the point I'm trying to make here. They're not teaching the Trinity. So you have to actually understand that's not a Trinity proof text. A Trinity proof text is somewhere somebody teaching. I'll demonstrate a Unitarian proof text. Okay? Not anything I haven't said before. Isaiah 44:24. God says, I am Yahweh who made all things, who stretched out the heavens alone and by myself. Yahweh is the name that he said he is to be called. I think it's a mistake that the Jews end up taking the guy's name out of the Bible, but that's another subject. But that's him teaching me that he was alone and by himself. He's teaching me that there were not 2 other persons or 4 or 17 other persons there. He's teaching me that he was alone. He's teaching me that he did it by himself. And if you're going to say that the Trinity is 3 persons that are separate and distinct from one another, then that, my friends, is not alone. So I would have to conclude that that teaching is not what the Bible's teaching. See, that is the difference between something being taught in the Bible and something not being taught in the Bible. And I say this because I make a lot of comments where I'm replying to people that are telling me the Trinity is true, and I keep asking for the passage. Hang on a second. Shelly, come here, girl. My Labrador is roaming the neighborhood. But anyway, and I tell them, show me a passage where someone's teaching the Trinity, and they'll put up some passage like Genesis 1:26 or something out of Revelations or John, and I'm like, but it's not teaching the Trinity. And when I say that, they don't seem to comprehend what I'm saying for some reason. So I'm trying to go into detail as to what I mean. Show me a verse that's saying what you're saying. Whoever's commenting or teaching the Trinity, you're saying God is three persons that make one God. You're saying that the Shema was actually three persons and not one. You're saying that God is three co-equal persons that are separate and distinct. The Son is not the Father is not the Son, yet they are all one God. Everything I just said, why is no one else saying that? Why is there so many passages that talk about God, but nobody ever thought to say that? See, because they're not teaching it. And people read the Bible like it's cryptic. You know, people, they read it as if it's a code book. You know, I actually had someone say to me the other day that the Bible by itself is not sufficient. That people have to explain, quote unquote, what it really means. And I think that that is a dangerous statement. At some point, we've got to stop doing this. And I know we never will, but I really wish we would. But it's saying what it says. And what it's saying is there's no Trinity, because nobody's teaching it. So many passages where Paul talks about God. You know, I mean, just think about it. So many passages where people could have talked about it, and they just never did. Yet is a essential doctrine according to Trinitarians, or I should say most Trinitarians. Not all would say that, but most will. So, again, stop reading the Bible like it's a code book, because it's not. It's actually not a code book. It's actually telling you God is one person. It's telling you, hear, O Israel, Lord our God, the Lord is one Lord. That's what it's saying. One Lord, one God. And I say Lord because the actual name there is Yahweh. And if you don't know, the name was replaced. A lot of people know that. So my point in this video is just to stop trying to make out like the Bible is some cryptic code book that's got to be decrypted, because it's not. Shalom.